Cool. Should be good enough.
Yeah.
Well, welcome to the Indistinct Conversation Podcast. You've missed us for a few weeks, and we're not sorry about that at all. Well, that's mainly because we flubbed a couple of episodes, and, you know, shit happens.
It's stressful times, to be frank. Come on. I mean, geez.
Yeah, I'm also, you know, I also have another podcast that I do, the Punk Black Podcast, and I got some crazy news with that. Recently. I'll just fast forward through that because it's like basically Punk Black didn't work with Afropunk, and then Afropunk got bought by Essence, and now Afropunk wants to pay Punk Black to help them promote, and so
I love it. It's a beautiful thing.
So yeah, that and the Punk Black Podcast, you know, was like it was like a couple times a month kind of thing whenever we could get a guest, but now I've got a co-host, so it's going to be weekly as well. It's funny because I've got another co-host in his 30s, except this one's black. Yeah.
It's appropriate.
Yeah. He also watches more movies than you, so it's going to be a different show. It's going to be a much different show.
Different vibe, different niche.
Yeah, welcome to the Indistinct Conversation Podcast. I'm Nelson Crawford. I'm here with Xander Cook.
Hey, everybody.
And this episode is going to be a little bit different because of what we've been doing between these episodes that we've flubbed. We've been watching the show that... It's funny because the last episode that came out was right before this show started, and we were like, oh, fuck, we should watch this show. And so
we just jumped on it, yeah.
This kind of works out because we tried to get some episodes before we watched it, and that didn't work, so... It kind of flows nicely. That it's like
now we have the hot take. It's good.
The show I'm talking about is The Good Lord Bird, the show about John Brown and, you know, him starting the Civil War and all this shit. And, you know, we talked it up pretty big on the last episode, and so we decided to watch it, and we're 3 episodes in. I think the 4th episode, I think they drop every Sunday, so the 4th episode is coming out, you know, when this podcast drops. And So what we're going to do on this episode is just kind of recap and talk about this show because we fucking loved it. Like, the show is fucking great.
Like, yeah, that's kind of one of these things where, like, I honestly didn't know much about John Brown. Like, they don't teach that in a normal high school history class or anything. And, you know, and when I went to college, it was for, like, psychology and shit like that. I didn't take history classes in college, so it was just like... Fucking, I was pretty blown away by how, like, by the story, and I kind of, I heard other podcasts do breakdowns on it. There's one, if you look up, what's it called?
Is it Street Fight Radio?
No, it was Pod Damn America did a breakdown. Yeah, and it's, they talked all about kind of the prequel to this series, which I don't think they could have done that on purpose. There's no way they knew about it ahead of time. But they talked about what made John Brown infamous, which was the whole Osawatomie thing.
Yeah,
where
bring that up in the first episode.
Yeah, that's what they call him, Osawatomie Brown, because he fucking... He basically, like, liberated a whole town the way we... No spoilers, but that's what we're doing.
No, yeah, we're going to spoil it.
Yeah, he liberated a town like we just saw in episode 3, but like on a bigger scale and like a more intense way, you know what I mean? And like a lot of his sons died, and it was like one of the most dramatic events. Like it kind of, like I said, it made his name infamous, which is why he is like known on the show. You know what I mean? So, so I had just heard that, and then you told me that the show was happening, and I'm like, oh my god, we have to, man. Like I don't normally watch TV shows.
I know, and I've been telling you gotta watch more TV, man.
Yeah, I definitely need to, but it's like, especially like a Showtime original where you have to pay extra and all this shit. But totally worth it in my opinion, because they
pirated TV.
Well, you know, I didn't want to disclose that, but I guess we'll just dive right in with that shit. But
what are they gonna do? They gonna come get me?
I don't want them to come for you, man. But no, yeah, it was fucking really good so far. So I mean, I don't know. Why don't you like start it off? Like
the first episode. The first episode, it like you get like the first episode does a thing that a lot of shows do, where it starts at the end, and it's narrated by by this character Onion, who we find out more about in the first episode. It starts basically with the hanging of John Brown, and it's a real like, man,
how did I get into this mess?
Yeah, right. It's just like, hey, that's me. I bet you're wondering how I got here, and then like they go back to you know how Onion met John Brown, and like, you know, John Brown's getting a shave. They do the whole cool reveal where he's sitting in the shadows on a barber chair, and this guy comes in and he's disrespecting, you know, Onion's dad, who's like the black barber, and you know, basically shit goes down. John Brown fucking just starts killing because he's just like, oh, y'all disrespecting black people up in here?
Yeah, he just murders white supremacists. Like, he just did that. He just pulled the trigger on anybody who hated black people, man.
So he tells Onion and his dad, hey, come with me. And one of the guys wasn't dead yet, and so they fired a shot at him, and it didn't hit John, it hit Onion's dad. And so basically it's funny because the whole thing with Onion, that character, is a boy who is... He's a light-skinned black boy who's disguising as a woman merely off the fact that John Brown misheard his name.
Right, yeah.
Like, his name was
said
like,
Henry.
Yeah, his name was like Henry something, like his last name. And John Brown just heard Henrietta and assumed he was a girl and was like...
There's a firefight going on, and that's like, just that.
Your dad died. You're coming with me. You're my good luck charm. You're my Onion. Well, okay, the Onion thing comes from when they get back to camp, and John Brown hands them the good luck charm, and as you know, as just as a black kid on the run, he's fucking hungry, and so he just takes a bite out of it, and John Brown's just like, I've carried that onion for like 3 months. That's my good luck charm. Yeah, he's
like, that's my good luck charm. Like, one of the sons says, like, you just ate Paul's good luck charm.
Yeah, like another one's just like, well, items just distract you from God. And he's just like, you know what? Yeah, you're my good luck charm
exactly,
now.
So fucking cool. And so,
And so they're going after this guy. They're going after basically the guy who works with the guys, you know, who from the whole inciting incident. And so they go to this town to go after that guy, and they don't go to his house. They go to somebody else's house. And this is where the shit gets interesting, because they're like, this isn't him. And the guy's like, yeah, I'm not him. He lives down the way. And John Brown's like, I don't give a fuck.
He still puts him to the test. He still does the thing where he's just like, well, what do you where do you land on slavery, motherfucker?
Yeah.
Like, since we're here anyway.
Exactly. It's like, well, since we're here,
I was in the neighborhood and just wanted to make sure Black Lives Matter. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like, and he's just like, well, I mean, come on now. There's a lot of land. And he's like, okay, yeah, well, the guy's like, I can't do it all myself. I treat these slaves good. And he's just like,
and that's,
dude,
you know, that's like one of the first offenses that like these fucking white supremacists and Southern revisionists want to hit is like, well, no, the slaves had it better than they would have had in Africa. Oh my God, we fed them, we gave them houses, and it's like, how dare you?
Right? It's just like,
how dare you assume that forcing them to live the way you want them to is better than the way they would have lived in their fucking homes, you piece of shit.
Exactly.
Like, that's how
fucking John Brown just straight up murders. He murders that guy. I'm pretty sure he kills his whole family and just burns his house to the ground.
Yeah, that's his way. That's what he does.
And then they just move on.
Yeah, it's, you know.
And then, like, the first episode ends with, like, them finding the guy, killing the guy, and John being like, all right, well, I got to go do some shit. Y'all take care right here. And like,
he like disappears at the end of that episode.
Yeah. And so that's where we start. Well, where you started thinking, like, is this just going to be about Onion instead of John Brown? Which
would have been fine, because the whole concept of someone in that situation is very fascinating. Like, it's almost this is kind of an egregious and gross comparison to make, because it's not the same thing, but it's almost like how Forrest Gump was adjacent to history. Like, you learn about that era by learning about how weird Forrest Gump is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so you're just like, oh, I already know a good bit about JFK.
Yeah, like, he meets a couple presidents, he goes to Vietnam, he starts a business. You learn a little bit about America as a culture, just by seeing his life. And so it's like, if they had gone that direction, and if they continue to go that direction, make it all about Onion, that's fucking awesome. But it's also, you wouldn't want it from John Brown's perspective, because then all the narration and everything would be like insane Christian psychobabble.
Crazy show. Yeah, that's what I was telling you, that they were probably going to do like a 60-40 kind of thing, where it's like it would be, 60% Onion, because that's where the perspective comes from, but the 40% is like, here's your John Brown, like you're gonna see everything he's doing, but we have to give you a perspective that isn't his, so that you can also be like, oh yeah, this shit is actually crazy. Because if we were going just from his perspective, then he would justify everything when we were watching the show.
Yeah, and it would just come off like insane propaganda. But
exactly.
But so episode 1 basically ends when one of the sons dies, and then John Brown says he has to go handle some business. Episode 2 starts with and then Onion runs off with
episode 2 is like,
what's the other slave's name?
Bob. He meets
episode
Bob.
2 starts with Onion and Bob running off on their own.
I neglected that in the first episode. Onion runs away and meets Bob, who's also a slave, who gets free, and basically they get into some shit. John Brown fucking swoops in with his people, and not even mad that Onion ran away. Just like,
you found a friend.
Yeah.
Good.
It's like, so glad. Yeah, it's like, both of you come back with me. Yeah. So
you got a cart? Oh my god, you got a carriage with you? Hell yeah, let's go.
Yeah. So the second episode starts with him burying one of John's sons that got killed at the end of the first episode.
Yeah.
And they're like they're kind of dividing up the duties of like, hey, I've got to go do this. You take Onion. No, you take Onion. And Bob's like, well,
let me take
what about
Onion.
me?
Yeah, I'll chill with Onion.
Yeah, Bob's like, what about me?
And it's weird that they're doing the liberation thing, but they don't trust him.
Exactly.
That's like one of those little subtle things they weave in there.
They didn't even give him the test. They're like, okay, the son that was gonna take them to the town they were going to was like, okay, I'll be right back. You guys wait here. Yeah. And then Bob's like, yeah, no, fuck that. I'm not waiting. Let's go. Yeah. and Onion's like, yo, we shouldn't. And he's like, let's go. And then
he's basically like, I'm going, so you can come or not. And it's like, you can either ride on my cart, you can ride with these guys. You know what I mean? So,
and what happened after that was probably one of my favorite exchanges, because it was so, like, Onion just doesn't get it. When they got stopped by the two guys. They got stopped by the two guys, and the guys are just
creepy
like,
cowboy dudes,
Yeah, and like, he's like, oh, we're going this way. I'm a woman. This is my slave. And, he starts talking about trim, thinking in Onion's mind, he's talking about haircuts. Yeah, but these guys, trim.
I can sell trims. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pussy back then, dude. And so they agree, and they go back to this town where they get taken back to this town whorehouse.
They say, my daddy taught me all about selling trims. They're like, your daddy.
Yeah, it's like a girl,
it's an amazing trim.
Yeah, it's just like, why would I wash this when I could do 10 minutes a day? It's just like, oh, dude, you don't even know. And like, Bob's like, yo, you better turn this around. And so they go to the brothel. They get sold to the fucking the madam, and we meet Pie, the bottom bitch, if you will, of this whorehouse.
Yeah, like the boss prostitute.
Yeah, exactly. The house mom, if you will.
Yeah, totally.
And first off, drop dead gorgeous.
Yeah, they found the most amazing actress. We need to look her up, man.
Which made me worry, and they did exactly like, that's why when the turn comes later in the episode, I was like, oh fuck. Because it's like, shows like this will be like, oh, here's a beautiful character, and we're gonna make you hate them. It's like, I just felt it coming, because it's like, he starts showing her how to, like, well, okay, yeah, they're like, they sell him to a whorehouse, and like, it's like, okay, well, go wash up. They find out he's a dude, and he's like, I'll teach you how to write if you don't fucking sell me out.
Yeah, don't sell me out, and
fucking bet. And so Onion's dumbass goes snooping around the slave cage. And I felt really bad just saying slave cage just now.
They called it the pen. They said,
The pen.
don't you go near that pen, they kept saying,
Yeah.
man. Oh my god, dude.
Goes over there looking for Bob and runs into these two ladies. And one of them was playing. One
Real
of them
quick,
was
one of the notes I wrote down is the moment Pi finds out that Onion is a dude, she says, "You're putting me in the fryer, you goddamn heathen."
Oh yeah.
That cracked me up so bad. Just the way they're still afraid of like fucking like religious things, even though all this other insane shit is going on.
It's just
like prostitution.
What the fuck?
Prostitution and slavery, but it's like being in the wrong type of clothes is just like, oh my fucking god,
It's like
how
we're
atrocious.
prostitutes, but we're all women here. Okay.
Yeah, right. Like, so I had to write that down because But anyway, keep rolling with it. Yeah, that's.
Yeah. So he agrees to
She's
teach
checking out
Pi
the
how
pen.
to. What's up?
Well, yeah. So Pi says that they'll teach, Onion teaches Pi a few letters and tries to teach her to read.
Yeah,
and
so he goes off by the pen looking for Bob, because he's like, well, me and Bob came here together. I gotta keep track of this guy. And so
it's your buddy at that point.
Yeah, he meets these two ladies, and one of them's playing crazy, and eventually it just shows it's a whole act, and it's just like, I know you're a boy. I don't give a fuck about that.
She's playing crazy because she's plotting the revolution.
Exactly. Yeah, later. She's like plotting an insurrection.
It's fucking beautiful.
Yeah, against the town, and she's like, I know you're a dude. I don't give a fuck about that. I know you can read and write. So.
So let's talk business.
Yeah. So it's like, I'm gonna need you to give me some papers and write me a free note, and basically word gets back to Pi, and. Onion's like, oh, fuck, fuck, I don't know what to do. And then just runs into Bob, the next day. And it's just like, well, I found you, so the bet's off. And,
It's like,
yeah,
that's not how it
Bob's
works.
like, yeah, it's like, no, dude, all we have is our fucking word, And so.
You better stand by the people here, he gets real serious
right
with it.
Right after that, shit hits the fan, because then it's just like it cuts to the fucking judge dude who was in the whorehouse the whole time, who's just who's like
they introduced the judge when Onion is explaining that they met all the best customers, and then they're like, Mr. Judge, come with me. And it's like, oh, and he looks like Donald Trump too. He's the exact same shape and proportions as Donald Trump,
except he's got like troll eyebrows that go off of his head and shit.
And that little creepy beard too, because that's just of the time. You know what I mean? There's no way Donald Trump can grow facial hair. No. I don't think he's got it in him. But anyway,
basically, the judge comes in saying, "Oh, there's been an insurrection. These slaves were trying to get papers to get free, and then come kill all us white folk." And so basically, they're planning on hanging 9 slaves for this. And so.
As punishment, 9 of you.
Yeah, exactly. And so Onion's like, fuck, like, oh my god. And so he's like freaking out, and he goes to Pi, and Pi's like, it ain't no thing, dude. And he's like, wait, what the fuck? And he's like, in that moment, I knew she did it.
yeah. Pi's like, only 9, they should hang them all. It's like, oh no, dude, don't say that.
Yeah, right. Like, that's what I was saying. It's like, here's this beautiful woman. We're gonna make you hate this character.
She's wearing the corset, and she's in the house, and there's I know there's a phrase for those types, and
she's got that house nigga brain, dude.
Yeah, dude, it's bad news.
And so
I feel like that's kind of foreshadowing what we see in the next episode. But yeah, keep rapping
a little bit. So a little bit.
They end up hanging them, and there's that really dramatic scene where they confront the preacher.
Yeah, exactly. They hold court. They hold court in the bar / whorehouse.
Right.
Which I made that clip to you while we were watching. It was like, if this was court. If court was,
we should go back to that.
If court was held in a bar and a whorehouse, I'd be so much more up for jury duty.
Every jury should have access to an open bar and prostitutes. That's a well-functioning society.
None of the racism.
No racism, but if I want to be like, hey, I need a fuck to think straightly, then I need to actually have a fuck and a drink. You know what I mean?
So they bring in the lady who wanted the papers, and basically have her sentencing right there, and there's this really gripping scene where she's talking to the preacher, and you can tell this dude is like, fuck. That's why it's so gratifying at the end. It's
one of my favorite things about religion is when you confront extremists with it, they have to admit when they're being wrong.
Like, you put the logic in front of him, and it fucking worked. Like, at the end of it, he's just like, you know what, y'all hang her if you want to, but I'm out. And then they get mad at her about it. They're like, you made the preacher leave, black lady, come on.
Yeah.
Which is like...
By knowing your Bible, how dare you? How dare you know our religion that we shared with you, that we forced upon you?
Yeah, it's like, how dare you make the preacher leave for us wanting to hang you?
I forget the term, but she says, like, you taught me about this thing. And what does that mean?
She was like, you taught me that God respects no man, and basically all people are equal, and all this shit. And then
she made him say that. Yeah, she said
she was like, the preacher was like, me and my wife taught you how to read, and she's like, I know, but if I got free, I'd fucking kill you guys first, because in my heart, I'd hate myself. But to show all these people that my allegiance is to their freedom for the greater good and the bigger cause, I'd have that blood on my hands.
Yeah,
and
she was a fucking warrior.
Yeah, and he's still just like, you know what? Cool, y'all hang her if you want, but I'm out. And then the most badass shit is when they're like, because they only had like 2 nooses at a time for 9 people, so they're like, who's first? And this lady and her sister step up, and they put the noose around her neck and grab the bag to put over her head, and she's like, fuck that, and just walks right off, dude.
She doesn't wait for the platform to drop. She steps off the edge.
So badass, dude.
She's like, just go ahead and choke me slow and let the whole crowd see it, because I'm a fucking human being and they deserve to see my face.
Yeah.
And that's that's heavy, dude.
A little detail we failed to mention was that while Onion's freaking out, like, before this hanging, he runs into one of John Brown's sons, talking about, we heard they were going to hang 9 slaves. We about to come burn this bitch to the ground. So I was thinking they were going to do it before the hanging, but it comes afterwards.
That's what I was hoping, but it's like, he probably had to travel a couple days to get there, a couple days back, because that's just how they worked back then,
It's like,
it wasn't safe to be, a day's travel was too close. Somebody from the town could have seen him, so you know what I mean?
Exactly. So, after the hanging, you see Onion just passed out drunk on the floor, which I thought was very appropriate.
That's exactly how I'd be dealing with it.
Yeah, it's like, I'm a 15-year-old half-black boy pretending to be a woman in a whorehouse, and I just watched people get hanged because of me.
Imagine the drinking I would do if you fucking died suddenly. But if you died in insane circumstances because of that, and I
looked you in the eye while I was dying.
My dude, come on, that's fucked up, man. So it's like, that's to imagine what Onion is going through, and to be referred to as Onion this whole time.
Yeah,
is just somebody please call me Henry.
It's like this entire episode we've seen no John Brown. And then the shootout starts.
But we should say before the shootout thing, there was a few different times where different characters try to make moves on Onion. The cowboy guy is creepy and rapey the whole time. Just keeps trying to find ways.
Creepy, rapey cowboy.
And then the boss slave guy too. When Onion's snooping around the pen, he makes moves on her. And then there's one of the guys that's a slave that grabs her. And I keep misgendering because it's like I'm not sure where.
That was the same guy.
But inside the pen though, I don't think it was.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, it was a different guy that grabbed him.
And ground him against the chains and shit.
Yeah, grabbed him.
And then Bob had to fight him and got his ass kicked and that whole thing. So it's like
we're leaving out a bunch of details. But if you want to know anything,
everyone should still
missing,
watch the show. Everyone should still watch the show. It's worth watching. But it's just like, that's an important thing too. Is like the trauma that this kid is experiencing. Just like dude's trying to fuck him, and oh my god,
the cowboy guy thing was especially creepy. Because
they're sharing the booze and getting them convinced to.
While they were on the way there, like they had that narration note where Onion was just like, a man to another man will just, tell him where we're camping and where we're going. But a man who thinks he's talking to a woman will tell him about his firstborn, how he lost his firstborn, his favorite
spilled
cow.
his guts to.
Yeah,
he was like,
stars, all that.
like our drunk cowboy was really having feelings for him, which is like I'd settle for a half black girl. That's fine with me.
Yeah, he offered to take her with him.
Winds are kicking up. Can I keep you warm?
Yeah, it's
God,
it's like I gotta take Bob with me. Well, I don't need Bob, but I'll take you.
Yeah, right. So yeah, there was a few instances like that. So when the shooting starts, it's like
Pie's like, I gotta go get my money. Because that's all I have.
Because that's all I've got.
And Onion's like, yo, you better stay down.
Onion's like, stay down and stay with me. We're getting out of here. She's like, that's all I've got is my money. And
so she runs upstairs. They shoot a lamp, and that starts a fire in this bar full of nothing but bourbon.
like 5X booze, like moonshine, because this is like the 1800s, pre-Civil War, 1800s.
Yeah, Onion gets out of there, fire starts, she grabs the money, opens the door, and I remember learning this from an episode of SVU, but when there's a fire and you have like a closed door and you open it really quickly,
rushes in.
Yeah, and that's why like there was like a big old explosion then, because the rush of the different temperature air getting into the fire just fucking brings it in and makes it expand a lot faster.
And literally nobody during that time would know that. You know what I mean? There's no chance that any of them would know that.
She swung that door wide the fuck open. It
just invited the fire right in and just engulfed herself.
And so there's a whole shootout going down. You're seeing all John Brown's kids, and then Onion's like, oh fuck, has a gun, blows open the pen, frees the slaves, and is like taking cover. And then there's the boy, there's the man. John Brown just fucking swoops in. Hey, Onion, you been reading the Bible?
Yeah. He pulls Onion aside and starts like making. Hey, you didn't fuck anybody, right? You kept all your clothes on.
In the middle of a shootout.
I heard you've been. He said he's like immediately like aggressive. Like you've been. Yeah, there's guns and cannons going off.
Like, I heard you've been drinking.
I heard you were drinking and using tobacco. Is that true? Yes, it is. But I still think of God. All right, we can work with that. That's fine. Exactly.
It's like I haven't been reading the Bible, but I've had godly thoughts. He looks around everybody. We can work with that. We can work with that.
And somehow the townsfolk bring out a cannon and light it, and John scares them away from the cannon. And then
it was John's people that had the cannon.
No. It
was the townspeople?
No, the townspeople had the cannon. They were getting desperate. They pull it out. Fucking one of the sons says, "Dad, a cannon!"
Okay.
And then John makes some moves and like scares them away from it, and then stands there and starts preaching.
Yeah, and then the cowboy guy is like behind the thing, like coming out like
the same guy. The same guy who's been trying to fuck Onion this whole episode.
And so he comes out, and like another divine intervention thing where somebody's shooting straight at John Brown, and they miss. And then as soon as this guy misses a couple shots, he looks and sees a cannon dead in his face, and it blows him in half, dude.
Yeah.
It's fucking crazy.
Like to pieces. It was like a fatality in Mortal Kombat. It was like arms, legs, all different directions.
Yeah, it was like comical, like VFX, like body splatter.
It was pretty fucking awesome. I was pretty happy to see that. Because I was, I've been grinding Mortal Kombat in the background this whole time to try to like get you some free fatality tokens and all that shit. So it's like it was nice to like this whole time I'm looking up and like Jackie just killed somebody, and then I look down and John just killed somebody, and I'm like, oh hell yeah, dude. And then he fights his way out like just fucking two pistol style like that. I've read so many things that say that that's like not possible, but it's like I bet there were some badass cowboys who did that shit. Like it might just be my fucking upbringing, but it's like it's hard not to.
What was it that ended the second episode? Because I remember I was thinking like, oh, it's gonna wrap up here. Then there was like one more thing after that.
Well, yeah, they had burned the town down and ride out.
Yeah, they burned the town down.
And then they've been chased. Well, yeah, we didn't mention in the first couple episodes. They met up with that guy who he looks like he's from the Union Army.
That was at the beginning of the third episode. Hold on 1 second.
No. That was the end of the third episode. The Union guy comes up and says that like, hey, next time I see you, you're probably gonna be dead because you keep burning down cities and liberating slaves, which is stealing property and vandalism. There's all these parallels with the cop uprising going on right now. Oh my god, a Boglin commercial.
Oh wait, yeah, no, never mind. Yeah, no, the second episode ends with them burning down the town. I thought there was something after that. Oh no, I thought the hanging was going to be the end of the episode, But right after
Right,
the hanging is when they
then
burn
the
down
shootout happens,
Yeah,
and then
the
they burn
shootout-
down the
yeah.
town and ride out.
The shootout is what ends the episode. The third episode, starts with Confederate guys like coming up to
Well,
him. And,
no, because the Confederates wore gray. So these guys are wearing blue, which makes me think they're Union dudes who are enforcing
you're
the
right.
law.
Oh, you're
Yeah.
right. Yeah, and like they're like, yeah,
Because this is before the Civil War breaks out, so
Yeah.
maybe they become Civil War dude. Maybe they become Confederates
yeah, but like,
later.
they're like, hey, John.
But right now
you're
they're just
wanted.
the American soldiers. Yeah.
Yeah, so
And they're the most polite death threat ever.
Yeah, they tell him he's wanted. You're forgetting the hilarious thing before that. They tell him he's wanted. He's like, oh, okay. And the guy's like, well, you'd probably be better with me going to trial than you would staying in these woods with this bounty on your head.
Yeah, it's
And,
like $3,000. It's like $300
Yeah.
or something crazy
And John,
for the time.
John looks over to one of his kids, like, how much money do I have? And he has like $250. And he's like, $250
$2.50
to any
Yeah.
man who can kill the president. Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Like-
amazing.
It
He's
is-
like shouting it at the dude's troops. Like,
Yeah.
you guys go back home and kill the president for me.
And yeah, the guy's just like, all right, well, I'm going to go back and they're going to tell me that next time I see you, I'm going to shoot you. So the next time I see all you people, I will be standing over your corpses.
It's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
Pretty amazing line. And yeah, that's
So
it's like, all right,
Yeah.
we're gonna eat our stew and go to bed.
So after that is the greatest line, besides the first one, another hilarious line from the show where they're like, well, what do we do? And he's like, I gotta go see King of the Negroes. And,
Oh yeah,
and Bob's just like,
that's when the
"Hey."
credits roll. Basically,
Yeah,
it's
Bob's
like, wait,
I'm
what?
right here. Hello.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh yeah, Bob's saying, yeah, hey, I'm right here, boss.
Yeah, and so they
It's fucking awesome, dude. It's so good. Also, I like how it stays a little funny the whole time. You know what I mean? They're not assholes about it. It's
Yeah.
like a good vibe.
so they go to see the King of the Negroes. That man being
I feel like I called somebody else that in one an episode of the podcast,
Did
and
you?
I can't remember who. No, I remember I said King of Black Folks, not Negroes.
I don't
but,
remember who that was, but that's hilarious.
Me neither,
Oh.
but that would be a good callback if I could remember. This is why I don't do stand-up, folks.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So they go see Frederick Douglass.
it's pretty awesome
And
too.
Frederick Douglass is living the lavish life, my dude.
Nailed the hair.
Oh, dude.
Yeah,
He's got-
especially for a black man in that time period, he was literally the king. Like
Yeah.
nobody was having it that good, dude.
Like, they walk in, and he's literally waxing poetic to a bunch of wide-eyed, like, white people, just like, oh, yeah. Oh,
And like a cathedral.
yeah, exactly. And
There's like women like fanning themselves in the front row, like, oh my god.
And so, yeah, he does that a couple times. And then, like, somebody goes, like, hey, John, he wants to talk to you. And then fireworks are going off, and John pulls his gun out. And, like,
That scene was great.
fireworks are going off, and Frederick Douglass leans over to the dog. John! Come on, John, let's go! It's like nobody...
John, get out of here. Go home. Get
Everybody's
out.
like, oh, fireworks. And he's just, like,
Yeah.
right in front. John Brown,
That-
come talk to
That
me.
loud whisper. John, get out of here.
So they get back to his...
Freaking everybody
We
out.
get back to his house. He shows him the Underground Railroad. And then we get the reveal that he's got a black wife and a white mistress, and he's got a whole staff. Frederick Douglass has it made. Like, it's fucking crazy. And, like,
I love the black wife, white mistress dynamic. That's that redhead has a real sub thing going on that I appreciate.
Jesus.
I've known a few redheads in my day, and this is a common trait with the Irish women. They just,
Yeah, so
Anyway,
basically, John's trying to tell Frederick Douglass, hey, I've got this plan, but I need money, all right? I need some money. And Frederick Douglass is like, yo, dude, if you
it
can't...
says talk to the Secret Six, talk to our clandestine network of people
don't know.
that we're never supposed to talk about. And he just brings it up at a dinner party.
Like,
after he makes Onion embarrass themselves with that bad line, like, it is imperative that we get as many funds as possible. Like, this kid doesn't know how to fucking read or speak or any. Like, we're going out a little bit out of order, but like when they serve the food, Onion is immediately like, like
it's like he's in prison. Like
it's probably the best food they've ever seen, though.
Probably.
You know what I mean? Like, fucking, if you've been living as a slave and then you get to Frederick Douglass's house where he has servants and shit, like, that's some probably pseudo French cooking. You know
how Onion reacted when like he got to a room with a bed. It's like laid out on it. It was like, I'm fucking exhausted.
Yeah, dude. Oh man. So it's just, it's all in that vein.
So after that whole crazy dinner of John Brown trying to tell Frederick Douglass he needs money, like it cuts to like later in the night where Onion's trying to steal a drink, and John Brown walks in, and Frederick Douglass walks in.
Frederick,
and he's like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "I made a drink for you." It's like,
I was hoping you could teach me about the plight of Negroes.
Exactly.
That's the line, right?
It's like, I want to know about the Negro plight. And so he makes him a drink, and he's like, well, my nerves are also very frayed, so I could use a drink too. And Fred's like, fuck it, pour up.
He says like a sip or two won't hurt.
Yeah,
and
it's like, you're coming of age, why not? And so they're going in, dude. They're having fucking.
They end up getting pretty fucking hammered. They end up drinking like you and I end up drinking those nights. Like, they're just pounding them down.
And then
but it's like they're getting real stoked about they're discussing politics and shit, and they get interrupted by both of Frederick's women.
The white mistress comes in and fucking is like, you can't
says
do this.
Don't do it, you can't.
And then his black wife comes in and is like, yo, you got the fucking
you
power.
Have to.
All right?
You have to.
And then,
you have to.
Both times after they leave, he's like, I need a drink. And so, the second time.
She says something like, well, if I don't keep up with you, it's not polite, right?
Yeah,
and he's like, you're right.
The second time is especially funny because he's like, I need a drink. And he's like, cool, me too. They just start going in.
And he thinks he's hanging out with a 15-year-old girl.
Exactly.
So it's like, that's a little edgy in my opinion, but whatever. It was a different time.
They're toasting to the Negro plight, to the cattle, to
liberation, and to warfare,
everything.
Man. Yeah, dude.
And he's like,
so I respect it at the same time. I get where they're coming from.
How did John Brown kill all these people in Kentucky? What's his army? Oh, he's got about 10 men. 10? He's got 10 men. That's not even a dozen. That's less than 11. He's got 10.
Yeah.
10 men. 10 of men is what he has. He's got 10 of men.
Yeah. He goes on and on. He's very passionate about that.
That shit was so funny, dude. Like, I expected him to pull down like a chart. Be like, 10 is what you have of men. You've got 10 of men. Not 11, not 12. 10 of men. 10 men? That's not even an army.
If you had 15, maybe 20 for sure, but 10, no way, not possible. It was just so fucking funny, dude. And so he gets disillusioned, and then and then fucking
eventually John Brown convinces him that like we got to do this, and
he shows him the maps, he shows him the plan, and he gets behind him,
and that's where the episode kind of calls and comes together. And ends with them going onward, to their next stop, funded and certified by the King of Negroes, Frederick Douglass.
And there's a few like subtle things that may or may not be foreshadowing. Like Onion connects with that one slave for a minute, like that house guy.
Because he called him out. It was just like, well, what's your deal? And he's like, nah, me and Frederick Douglass aren't kin. I escaped and he gave me a job, so I'm loyal to that dude. I'm not a slave.
He's like, but we don't see eye to eye. I'm free, but I'm not like
exactly.
him. Like that's a totally different thing.
There was that really intense scene at the dinner table when John Brown's like, the slaves will they'll do this and that, they'll fight with us, and Frederick Douglass is like, as a man who's never been owned, never been savaged, never been bought or sold, the audacity to tell me what you think a slave will do. And it's just like, that's the old way of like telling somebody, you better check your fucking privilege, John Brown. All right.
And I like that, and then I liked how they also, like, John kind of flipped it and told of some of his experiences, and he was like, okay,
yeah, where it's just
I
like,
get that you kind of understand. It was kind of like where he came from. Like he said, I agree with you.
yeah, he's like, I agree, but at the same time, don't think that I'm any more righteous than you, because sometimes it's like, well, you know, now that we've rounded out that third episode, we can talk about the crux of the show, and it's that sometimes things got to get bloody. You know,
well, that's kind of what it comes down to. You know what I mean?
Because that's the character of John Brown of like, hey, you know, he was fucking crazy, but back then, apparently they needed somebody who was fucking crazy to, you know, to change something.
He's the only religious extremist that I know about that I agree with. He did crazy things because Jesus, but they were arguably a lot more righteous than anything that most of these fools do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like as much as, you know,
like
as much as he was like a religious zealot, he also, at the end of the day, it was about equality.
It was about it was about true equality and righteousness, and he has this weird. They only kind of hint to it in the show, but the podcast that I dug into goes really deep on this, like his reverence for nature, and like he names. The way he can name his kid Onion, and he has like several sons named Salmon.
He was
and, like,
living
Bear
all up on that troop's horse when he came up. It's like, oh
yeah, like the horse comes up and he's just petting him.
Oh yeah,
and
his son said hi to the horse and not the soldier.
yeah. They pick up the turtle and they're just like talking to it.
Yeah, the third episode opens with him
like
looking like a turtle dead in the shell,
and just like trying to absorb as much knowledge from this turtle as he possibly can. And it's like, so he has this respect for all of God's creation, which is to me that's kind of, just to put like my spin on the whole thing for where we are so far, is, you know, when I studied the Bible as a kid, and that's why I'm such an ardent atheist, is that it's like I'm convinced that it's bullshit. And the reason I'm convinced it's bullshit is because the things that the Bible says not only contradict the words of Jesus for the most part,
themselves.
but when you just exactly, like within the same story with like paragraphs apart, they'll contradict themselves. But when you just read like what Jesus Christ said, so if like you are really trying to
just read the red text.
The words of Christ, you read the red letters, and it's just hippie shit. It's like he says shit like you shouldn't pray out loud because that's shameful. No one's impressed by that. You should be holy everywhere you go.
Exactly.
And it's like he says things like the rich, you know, have a better chance of going through the eye of a needle than through fucking getting into heaven. You know what I mean?
Like, fuck. I can't remember the saying exactly, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
There's so many lines like that. Like the Bible is full of lines about how you're supposed to give everything away and just live a peaceful life where you have reverence for all things in the world and respect all people and forgive their sins. That's the big thing. And so the fact that we still live in a society where people use Christianity to oppress each other.
It's fucking wild.
It's bizarre. It's like thousands of years of people just completely missing the plot of their favorite story.
Yeah, that's exactly.
And thank God we're making progress. And, you know, the modern analog to this is the fact that, you know, Black Lives Matter protests have gone kind of crazy, but the cops were getting violent first, you know, and it's a reaction.
Exactly. That's the thing that a lot of people don't want to talk about, is that, like, oh, Black Lives Matter does this and that. It's like, it's all reactionary. Literally, all of the shit that happens is fucking reactionary, because it's just like, you know, none of this would be where it is if the cops treated everyone, you know, the same. But they don't, and so things have escalated to a point of like, okay, if you know, if there's like a Black Lives Matter protest and a cop wants to, like, you know, step out of line and like do some fucked up shit like shove somebody over, then it's just like, no, dude, we're done having that. These protests are because we're done having.
They killed that old man.
Oh yeah,
they killed that guy.
Yeah, people because it's another thing where so much fucked up shit happens.
You know,
yeah, people have already forgotten about that old man who got shoved over and his head's bleeding, and people are just marching over. Like the fucking cops are just marching over that guy. And it's like, that was a white guy. But it's like, I don't care if he's a white guy. The cops shoved a citizen.
2020 had so many names, dude. George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Elijah McClain. These are just popping in my head quickly. But all the other violence, all the cops shooting fucking gas and fucking rubber bullets, bruising people up, arresting people, charging them with insane charges. That list is endless.
The fucking people getting picked up at a protest by, like, random police in minivans and shit.
They get herded up on bridges.
Dude, yeah. When they started raising the bridge while people were on it, like...
Those stories about people who were tear gassed out of their own homes, who weren't even protesting, and then getting arrested for protesting because they had
on one of the earlier episodes where they'd gas the neighborhood, and it's like it's the middle of summer. Well, it feels like the middle of summer, even though it's fucking October because the planet's fucked. Yeah, and it's like I've even still got my window open here, so it's like if you've got your window open on a fucking while it's fucking warm outside,
the tear gas gets in your house and stays in there, and then you gotta get out of the house, and then you're all crying and in pain, and then you get arrested for being outside.
Exactly, like it's fucked.
And the one that really sticks to my head is it was a dude with his pregnant wife, and they were just driving near a protest. They were at an intersection where a protest happened to be, and they stop at the red light safely, and the cops start shooting rubber bullets at the car.
Fucking ridiculous.
And the guy gets out of his car and says, "There's a pregnant woman in here, stop shooting," and they light him the fuck up. And
it's fucking ridiculous, man.
And so it's like to watch this show and see all the historic things and all the accuracy of that. And I don't know how accurate it is. I don't know if there's going to be some nerd who points out that
because it's like by everything that history shows, it fucking sucked to be a slave. So it's like,
and I was just
the way they show it. It's
I think they did a good. They tamed that, in my opinion. They're not whipping them enough.
They didn't. They didn't go full like Django Unchained, where you see people getting runaway R's burned into their cheeks and getting put in hot boxes and shit. But it's like you see it enough with even the little struggles of between Onion and other slaves and shit like that. It's it's there and it's fucked.
The little political things and working out their status because they're all trying to get ahead.
Exactly.
They're all trying to live.
Exactly. Even down to Bob being I'm not waiting in the woods for a bunch of white people to come back.
Exactly.
I would much rather get caught on the road than be a fucking sitting duck somewhere.
But my point with all that is there are going to be people who watch this show and think, gosh, I'm so glad that was so long ago. And it's still happening.
Yeah. That's why I feel like these shows are so important. I just started watching Lovecraft Country, and that's a show that takes place in I think the 30s or the 40s.
Yeah, Lovecraft had a lot of really problematic races. We talked about the name of his cat before too.
Yeah, nigger cat.
That's
yeah.
It was man,
nigger man. It was his cat. Yeah, but it's the show, it starts off with here's some spoilers for the first episode of Lovecraft Country if you haven't seen it. It just wrapped up. If you want to hear me do a full season retrospective, you can listen to the episode of the Punk Black Podcast that's coming out the Tuesday after this, where me and Arcade Colt talk about all of Lovecraft Country. But on the first episode, you're the same way this show puts you right into that era of that's how bad it was. It's the same way with Lovecraft Country, where it starts off with him on a bus leaving Florida going to Chicago because and because he's leaving Florida, because he's coming out of the South, he's still sitting on the back of a bus, and the bus breaks down, and the bus driver gets a ride into town, but it's a foregone conclusion that him and this one other black lady on this bus definitely aren't getting a ride. And so he's like, he looks over and sees, the bus driver and the guy who's driving this truck, helping all the white people get their stuff, and nobody's helping this black lady get her luggage off the bus. So he goes and helps her, and then it just cuts to them like walking, and it's like, yeah, I kind of figured that they weren't gonna, get that ride, and
might as well get started now.
And it's like the climax of the first episode starts when they're going to try and find the main character's dad, who disappeared going to what you'd call Lovecraft country, which is like a part of I can't remember where it is exactly. I've only watched the first episode so far.
Wait, so is it tied into H.P. Lovecraft?
Yeah, because this is the part of this is the area where Lovecraft based all of this shit off of. And yeah, exactly. So they're going to the town where Lovecraft based all of his shit off of.
I know he lived, I want to say, in like Maryland, like a coastal northeast town.
I watched it last night, so it's not like fresh in my brain, but like it's in the South. And so they're going to this town, and he's traveling with his uncle and like one of his old friends who's just come into town. This girl, and his uncle's like a civil rights guide. Like, he basically travels and finds, the good places for colored people to go, if they want to travel. He does like guide trips and stuff like that. And so him and his uncle and, one of his old friends from childhood who's just rolled into town, they start traveling because she's going to go stay with like one of her cousins. And so they get there and they have a whole quarrel, and she's like, fuck it, I'm going with you guys the rest of the way. And so they go to this town, and they get into this town and immediately are like, oh, it's funny because like on the way to this town, they stop at a diner, and it's super tense because it's like there's a white guy in there and like just a white kid, running the soda bar or whatever. And, the guy at the counter just gets up and leaves. And so they're sitting at the table, and the lady's like, I'm going to go to the bathroom. And while she's in the she's walking to the bathroom, she hears like the guy who's working the bar on the phone, like, yeah, no, they just came in and like sat down. I didn't serve them. And it's so crazy because like right after this, fucking the main character,
it's like some Jim Crow shit. Like, we didn't want these black folks here.
And sees that they have like white molding, like how the Oval Office is painted in like the White House, where it's like a white molding over it. And he asks his uncle, he's like, why'd they paint the White House white? And then they both remember it's to cover up the burn marks from when it got burned down. Like right when they both come to this realization, the lady comes like running out, we gotta get the fuck out of here, you gotta get the fuck up, let's go. And she comes zooming out, fucking hops in the car, and they're like, oh fuck, and like they hop in the car, and like a fucking car with like a truck with like a dude like in the back of it with a shotgun is like coming down the road, like shooting at him, and they're like, it's like a whole car chase thing. And like basically they get away from that because like, and this is gonna, I'm not gonna spoil any further episodes, but some silver car, like they pass it, and some silver car like pulls in front of the rednecks trying to kill him. And like basically when they pull in front of this car, like the car is about to run into him, but right before it hits him, it just like explodes and like flips over. It's like a whole crazy thing where you're like, something's up. And so they're driving, and they're getting to this town, and they run into the sheriff in this town, and he's like a super fucked up sheriff because like he's been covering up all these like random deaths, because it's like he's been saying it's just a bunch of like bears and wolves and shit in the woods. There's
so much good media like similar to this, but keep going. I'm sorry.
So
this is like it's echoing lots of fun games and,
he's like,
books and shit that I know about.
You guys can try and get into town and board, but you'd have to speed to do that, or you could, or you can get out of here, get the county line the other way before sundown. And basically,
please get out of here.
Yeah,
he's basically saying,
and so like the main character's like, well, can I make a U-turn? And he's just like, oh, you a smart nigga, aren't you? Because it's just like, if U-turns were illegal, then he'd just have another reason to pull him over. So like, he fucking makes him jump through some stupid ass hoop, and then like, And so they're driving, and they're like, the cops like literally on their tail, like bumping their car while they're trying to like get across, the county line. Like they get over some railroad tracks, and they'll be out of there before sundown.
Get out of here, get.
And so, like they manage to do it, and they get over the tracks. And as soon as they get over the tracks, they're met by another group of cops. And it's like, oh, fuck. And these cops are crooked as shit, and they take them into the woods. And then you start hearing all these noises, and then fucking all these fucking vampire creatures. It's a whole fucking crazy thing. Like, it starts off like it's gonna just like the show dunks you into the time period by being like, yeah, it's fucked up. And then they're just like right around the end, it's like, well, the show is called Lovecraft Country. Here are some monsters.
And so I both love and hate this idea. I had the same complaint about Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter or whatever, or Slayer or whatever it was called.
Yeah, oh, fuck that movie.
We're like, I like the movie as a concept. I think it's fucking funny to watch Abraham Lincoln kill vampires.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like they're trying to forgive
this movie
average white folks.
No, this,
you know what I mean?
This show,
it's like it's not white people, it's monsters.
No, this
you know
show
what
isn't
I mean?
forgiving of white people at all. Like this show shows how shitty white people like were back then. Like, yeah, I'm saying like they put you right in there, and like that's what I'm saying. It's like they almost get they get shot at leaving a diner. They have to deal with the fucking crooked sheriff, and then
but you remember how Abraham Lincoln ended, where it was like
I didn't watch that fucking movie.
You didn't watch it. It's worth watching. It's worth having like more beers than you should and laughing at.
I watched the first 15 minutes of it to the part where he got to the guy who was going to train him to be a vampire slayer, and I was like, nope, I'm out. Well, I can't do this.
Basically, long story short, like the revelation is that the vampires are working with the Confederates to keep the slaves coming in, so that they can take some of the slaves to keep their blood supply going. And so the implication, yeah. So the implication is that the slave trade wouldn't even happen if it wasn't for the vampires.
Oh, dude, what?
And it's like, that sucks. You know what I mean? Like, that's funny, but it's like, no, dude, people did this.
No, that's fucked.
Like, human beings did this to each other, and we can't just say it was vampires.
Nope. Yeah,
we can't just do that.
You can't just say it was vampires.
That's funny enough for like a half-hour episode of a cartoon. It's really not funny enough for a full-length feature film.
Yeah.
And so and they reveal that in like the last 15 minutes, and so it's like I was having fun the whole time, and then they say that, and I'm just like,
oh, jeez.
Yeah. It's like imagine having like a huge Reese's pumpkin.
Okay.
And then the last bite of it is coconut.
Oh,
and you're like,
fuck. I'd be ready to fight somebody, dude. I hate coconut stuff. Like,
I saw that. I had a feeling you would. Coconut candy is not good. Coconut can be good, but no,
dude,
almond.
Who the fuck
Mounds canceled. Almond Joy's canceled. If you give out, you might as well just give out brand cereal. Give me some fucking Raisin Bran, fun size.
You if you like Mounds or Almond Joy.
Yeah. The girl I was dating at the time didn't quite understand why I was so mad at the ending of that movie, and I was like
if you actually like a Mounds bar or an Almond Joy, I'm pretty sure you might be a sex offender. That's all right. I mean, I'm not saying you are, but I'm just like...
I feel the same way about candy corn.
Oh, and, yeah, same, yeah.
I read something on, I think it was Reddit the other day, where they were like, well, candy corn's only good if you fry it in butter. And I'm like...
Why would I do any of that?
You're going to take candy corn, which is just sugar with orange color, and you're going to fry it in butter and eat that?
I hate the South. I hate the South so much.
I think it's just America, dude. This whole country.
Yeah.
Like the rash has spread. Like there's people like this in California and New York.
Right. You're right.
It's just anywhere that's not a city is like that. And it's just really sad. You know what I mean? It's like all they eat is Taco Bell and McDonald's, and they put chili in a bag of Doritos and eat that.
It's a bag of Fritos.
I've seen both. I've seen both. Yeah.
I made a chili burger earlier today.
I'll eat that.
Yeah, my mom made chili the other day, and like
I still have my batch of chili from 2 weeks ago.
So I took the leftovers, right?
Yeah.
And it's not like all the juices with it, but like some of it, and like all the leftover beans and like meat, and like ground it up. Like I put it in my blender, so it like all became like.
You made a patty out of chili. That's fascinating.
I made a chili burger. Made a
patty. No, see, when I hear chili burger, now we're not talking about the show anymore. Obviously, this is now when the conversation becomes indistinct. But I used to go. There was a place in Salt Lake City that I may have brought up before called the Training Table. I used to work there. But they would do burgers of all different sorts, and the whole gimmick was you sat down to eat there, right? So it felt like a sit-down restaurant. Each table had a phone that you would call. You would pick up your table's phone and say, "I want this," and then the phone would ring when it was time to go to the counter and pick it up. It's a stupid gimmick, and I don't understand why.
But I don't hate it. That's the
it's a very 80s thing, right? Like that just sounds like people in the 80s. Like we should use phones for each table. But I worked there in like the 2000s, so it was just really bad. It was like 2005 when I was working there. But they would do like grilled patties with some chili on top, you know what I mean? And then some cheese on that, and it's like...
See, no, I took chili and made that into a burger.
That's impressive. You could totally do that. The shit I made, because I used pulled steak and pulled pork, you could make a crazy patty out of that shit, dude.
See, my mom made like white chili, so it was like
Jill makes a crazy white chili.
It was like beans, kidney beans, and turkey.
Yeah.
And you take that, some fucking breadcrumbs and an egg. You got burgers, dude.
Hell yeah.
Burgers.
It's fine.
Oh man.
Breadcrumbs and egg, that's a meatball in a patty shape, but I'm not going to shame you. It's okay,
but it's like
I'm chefing your ass over here.
Yeah, okay, but it's like what is a burger? Gordon right what now. Is a burger but a giant meatball?
Different.
What's a smash burger before it becomes a smash burger?
It doesn't
Tis a meatball, my friend.
Doesn't have breadcrumbs in it. Doesn't have breadcrumbs in it.
And how do you know?
That's the distinction I'm making. A smash burger.
If it's a black bean smash burger, then it's definitely got breadcrumbs in it.
See, that's a different thing altogether.
Nope, no, it's not.
It's a black bean patty.
Patties go on what? Burgers?
Patties can be ingredients and a substitute for a burger. A burger is a flat piece of meat with salt and pepper on it.
No, a burger is the whole thing. A burger is bread on buns. That's a burger.
So like if I get a spicy chicken sandwich at Wendy's, is that a burger?
Technically yes, but they just call it a sandwich because it's chicken.
I think we're gonna have to agree to disagree on the burger definition.
If you say so. I mean, I know I'm right, but like whatever.
No, you're absolutely wrong, but it's okay. You probably also don't...
Except for how right
do you put ketchup on hot dogs?
No, what the fuck? What kind of simpleton do you think I am?
Good,
Jesus.
see? Good, see? I know you're almost there, buddy. I remember my 20s, too.
I don't remember most of mine.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Do you have anything else to talk about since we're just like riffing now? I mean, I think I have
a hernia.
Oh my god, dude, that's not a joke though. Are you for real?
I don't know. That's the thing. It's like I've had them before, but like I don't know because it kind of feels like one, but also I don't know. Like I got it because I don't know if I told you about this. I was listening to that Cumtown episode where they were doing To Kill a Mockingbird, but without scripts, like just off memory. And like I started laughing so hard that I caught a cramp, and like tried to like stretch it out, but like I guess it just never went away. So it's like anytime I like hit a dab and start like coughing super hard, I'll like feel it, and I'm like, do I have a hernia? Like what is happening?
Oh my god! I hope you're okay, man. I'm gonna feel so bad if listen to this podcast and you fuck yourself up on it.
If I have a hernia, I'm suing Cumtown.
They got the money. Nick Mullen is just fucking surfing on cryptocurrency.
I'll send Nick Mullen a DM. Hey, I laughed at your episode so hard, I got a hernia. Please help.
They might actually be into that. That'd be pretty fucking funny.
I'll send it to him after this episode. I don't give a fuck. Do it.
We are just cloud chasing, though. We literally just want. Yeah. It's like.
Well, yeah, that was your recap for the Good Lord Bird. And some of the first episode of Lovecraft Country.
Hold on. I mean, there's...
I was just telling him that's the end of the recap portion.
Oh, yeah.
If you have anything else, we can still go. Like this,
well,
this is the Indistinct Conversation podcast.
I know you specifically said you didn't want to talk about this very much, but I definitely need to bring up Mimsy Moon.
Who?
Dude. Mimsy Moon.
Oh god, yeah. The thing that I said was like so bad, I don't even want to make fun of it.
Well, the thing is, it's so bad, but she's coming from the weirdest place of privilege that I've ever heard in my life. And you said that we'd be punching down, and I almost agree with you, but I also disagree because of who she's fighting for.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, oh my god. So, I didn't even write this down because the moment I learned this information, it scarred my brain forever. This woman, she does a children's show.
If you can call it that.
No, she says it's for children, but then she also specifies it's for ages 13 and up.
Yeah, this is not. I watched it. That's not a children's show.
And she has a Muppet that is the liberal and she's the conservative. and she's talking the whole time is like Sesame Street vibes. And there are not 13-year-olds do not want Sesame Street vibes unless they want it ironically. You know what I mean? Which I can understand to some extent. And there are like weird immature kids that, I remember them from growing up and that's a thing. But but that rap song that she posted.
Fuck that fucking song.
That was when I really lost it. The rap song about QAnon or whatever it was just really. And her profile talks about how she used to use meth for 16 years. And she was a rub and tug girl on Craigslist, and she had a comfortable lifestyle in the suburbs, and she taught her daughters to do the same thing. And then she went to jail for human trafficking because not only of what was going on with her daughters, but because she would get like teenage prostitutes off the street and have them sleep on her couch and also do the job there. It's like she had like a 16-year-old crashing with her, and that counts as human trafficking. It's
it definitely does.
Yeah. And all the time,
does.
all the whole time there's meth going on, and just great lifestyle. And so she goes to jail for a while, and her parents get custody of the kids, and when she gets out of jail, her parents and her kids are all doing heroin. And so,
for fuck's sake, man.
But she was in jail, so she found Jesus, and she like ran away and decided to be a warrior for the right wing and to make a kids show that teaches conservative values. And she blames her whole childhood and all that trauma that she's been through. She's like, isn't that what liberals say? Just do whatever feels good and live your lifestyle? And it's like, not really.
No, that's not what we say. That's not what we say at all.
That's like what hippies say, but...
Yeah, it's like, be happy as long as it's not endangering anyone else. And hopefully not yourself either.
It's like, if you have kids, you probably shouldn't teach them to be rubbing tugs.
Got a burp you're trying to work out, buddy?
It's like several. So it's like... But I don't know. Mimsy Moon is just something that if you want to blow your own fucking mind for a minute, it's kind of worth looking up. I had to talk to somebody about it because it's really fucking with my head.
It's gross. So. I mean, it's like, hey, I found the Lord. I know I was doing all these rub and tugs, but hey, the Republican Party's pretty dope.
to brag about your past as a meth addict who did human trafficking and then come out as like an anti-QAnon Trump supporter, like, is just like an amazing thing. And
it's just like, well, I'm sure she's not the only one on that side.
And that's, if anything, it's like I need to bring that up so that if there's anybody who thinks that it's like this shit is not a serious problem, like, this woman looks like a punk. She sells shirts on her website that say "Punks for Trump." Ugh. She has like a heart with like vampire wings, on her chest and like purple hair, but is like talking about why you need Jesus and why Trump is your guy and like why Black Lives Matter is a terrorist organization.
That's gross.
Dude, it's just an amazing, disgusting, fucked up planet, man.
Yeah.
So I had that. I had some things from. Well, I mean, this is all old now. Hold on, let's just get it out there. Bragging about my chili. Shit, I wanted to ask GBG, but we just ended up talking and having fun the whole time.
That'll be a future episode.
Well, I have noticed there's a lot of K9 Roswell police vans in my neighborhood lately.
They're looking for you, man.
I get these ugly looks from like I keep accidentally dressing as Black Bloc when I leave my house. Like I'll just be like, oh shit, I'm out of beer, I should take a walk, and I just happen to leave wearing black jeans and a hoodie, and I'm like, oh shit. Like as soon as I get near anybody who's like wearing a Georgia Bulldog shirt, I'm like paranoid, I don't know, man.
I guess here's one last thing before we close out, because I'm particularly pissed about it.
Let's go. I like when you riff on something. Yeah. What are you mad about?
It's a pretty well-known thing among gamers that whenever there's a new DLC character, they're just fucking stupid OP, and it's annoying.
Are you afraid of Rambo?
No, fuck that. I'm mad about that. Fuck Rambo. Well, don't put him in. If you put Rambo, if you get Rambo, I don't care if you download Rambo. I'm never using him.
It's coming. Don't worry.
I'm talking about putting the Minecraft guy into Smash Bros. Fuck every single part of that.
Changing the level.
It is
all these
the
weird
single
powers.
Worst thing. I fucking hate it because it's like if you're somebody who didn't play Minecraft and you use that character and you tried to like, if you're like super good at Smash Bros and you use the Minecraft character, you're not going to be good with him. The only way you're going to be good with the Minecraft character is if you've played Minecraft, because like they have like this thing where you like switch through all these things and nobody's going to know what the fuck those things are unless they've played Minecraft. Well, it's so stupid because it's like, oh god, they've just made it so OP and so stupid. They've made it like a dual OP kind of thing, and by making it a dual OP, you've just squared the stupidity of it, because it's like, why? I'm so pissed about it.
I understand where you're coming from. I feel like that's kind of what they need to do when they're doing Smash Bros characters, though. It's like any other character in the game. If you haven't played that game and you're good at Smash Bros, you can still be good with that character. Whereas with this character, if you haven't played Minecraft, you're gonna be like, what the fuck is this? Well, we haven't played him yet, so we don't know that. But at the same time,
I've played him.
He's out.
He's out.
Oh my god, okay, I need to get my shit together.
I've been playing against him online, and it's been pissing me off.
Oh, well, my point is that like, what I like about Mega Man being in Smash is that he feels like 8-bit NES Mega Man, and that's kind of funny.
But he also feels like a Smash Bros character.
You're right. So, yeah, it's funny. I haven't turned on Smash Bros, so I should do that and check out Steve, I guess. I thought that was coming out in a few months, because when Mortal Kombat announces new characters, they come out like a month later, so...
No, this is out. Steve's out.
I need to check it out then.
I do like his smash move though. I do like his smash move because he takes you into a tomb and then you just get like swarmed by zombies. Awesome. And it's like standing outside eating a cookie. It's pretty cool. I do like the smash move, but other than that, I'm not a fan of him being in Smash Bros. Because people who play Minecraft will just spam will like that'll be their character, and it's like, oh, you're good at Smash Bros. And Minecraft? Now you can be a complete dick, while you're playing this game.
This is the beginning of the end, dude. This is when all the fucking young 20 dudes take over for us, man. This is how it happens, man. It's kind of funny. For me, it's like, I mean, what was I going to say? I think it's kind of cool. There's like a political aspect to it that is like, you know,
The Smash Bros?
yeah. Well, it's political in the subculture of video games, where
Okay,
it's like
yeah.
technically Minecraft is owned by Microsoft, and
Yeah.
so is Banjo-Kazooie, and they got Banjo-Kazooie in there too. So it's like, I like the idea of Microsoft and Nintendo working together a little bit more,
Yeah,
especially
maybe we can get the Halo guy. We
who?
can get Master Chief.
Yeah,
Get
Master Chief.
in
Master
Smash
Chief would be
Bros.
fucking rad. There's others, you know, especially if Microsoft did buy Sega, which is like a big fucking rumor going on right now.
Hey, turn your TV volume down. I can hear it.
Yeah, sorry, I changed videos and now it's too loud. But fucking, if Xbox did buy Sega and they're still gonna port Sega games to Switch and Nintendo products because they're just trying to sell games and not consoles, that's cool too. You know what I mean? So there's like undercurrent to that happening.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, yeah, it's like I'm of the age group that sees Minecraft as a new game still, even though my little brother's been playing it for like fucking 7 years.
I've never played Minecraft, and I probably never will.
Yeah, and that's kind of the thing. I fired it up a few times, and it was almost playing Minecraft and not understanding it, and then playing Fortnite years later and not understanding it. It was the same exact feeling. It was like, whoa.
I get Fortnite. Minecraft,
But it's like
I don't
that whole
see it.
building the world around you was not something we were allowed to do in old school games. You know what I
True,
mean? Like
yeah.
the world was there and you navigated it. The whole like I'm building my fort or I'm building a house or building my castle, that didn't exist. You know what I mean? So it's like there's just a different type of gamer that is used to building their environment, and
Maybe
you know
we're too old for this, man.
Yeah, it's a fascinating feeling, to be sure.
That's hard.
Yeah, it's all good though.
Well,
You ever
we're
seen The
old.
Mask?
Yeah. Cameron Diaz was 18 in that movie, which is crazy.
Jesus Christ. Fucking.
Yeah. Well, we're old, but we have a podcast, and it's great. This has been the Indistinct Conversation podcast. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. If you want to hear more TV recaps from the things that we're watching, then, you know, leave it in the comments or shoot us an email at indiconpodcast@gmail.com, or, you know,
We're at least
hop in our
finishing Good
DMs.
Lord Bird because I need to keep watching this shit.
You're definitely going to hear recaps from the rest of the season because we're still going to be watching it. So if you didn't like the recap that we did for the first 3 episodes at the beginning of the episode, I guess I can try and comfort you by saying they'll be shorter because we'll be doing them, you know, by singular episodes now. But also, if you didn't like it, you better get the fuck over it because
that's what we're doing for the next little while.
Yeah,
it's a good vibe.
That's what we're doing. If you want to, you know, if you want to hear us talk more about games and see us play more games, if you want to hear us do more video game stuff, then follow us on Twitch at twitch.tv/IndiCon Gaming, or subscribe to our YouTube channel, IndiCon Games. We're putting out 3 goddamn videos a week on IndiCon Games. It's fucking crazy. It's unbelievable. I don't sleep. It's great.
Post in the comments, hit us up on Twitter, come to the chat. We all need friends right now.
Tell us what you
we're
want.
lonely.
We want to
I'm
hear
lonely.
from you. We want to hear from you. We want to know what you want so that we can make this podcast not only something that we enjoy doing that helps us, you know, have an outlet every week, but we can also, you know, help give you guys what you want. And
if you're one of our few special fans, then it's like get in on the ground floor. Start participating now so that we can all hang out later.
We want to know what you want. We want to shape the show in a way that's going to make all of us happy. So, yeah. Do any of that stuff. This has been the Indistinct Conversation podcast. You'll see us next time. I'm Nelson. That's Xander. And we'll see you next time. Or you'll see us next time, better yet. Que sera, sera. Carpe diem.
Take care, everybody.